Hey, everybody, in this episode of the GH Report, Franco's framed, Sam starts running her con, and we've got a whole lot of shenanigans to break down on this episode. We're going to do it right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the GH Report right here on AfterBuzz TV. This is the show that breaks down all the latest goings-on in Port Charles. I'm Frank Moran.
And I'm Carla Renata.
I'm just rocking out that sweet voice today.
He's giving you Barry White all day long. It's kind of comical.
How's everyone doing today?
Can't get enough of your love, babe.
I'm going to slow it down right now. For the ladies.
He's giving us the Midnight Storm voice. I cannot handle you right now.
And as always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and Carla's got her iPad here, which means the chat is up and running.
The chat is up and running. It's about to be off and popping. Yes, it is.
Oh, I love it.
We got about 20 some odd people in here. We got our loyal people, Michael B., Kelly Undercover, Ann Robertson, Chelsea Brown, Ann Goen, Stuart Pierce, and I think, and Zoe Johnson and Joe Costanzo, they are all there. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us here. I know we had a lot of people joining us last week, and we had the lovely and talented and always awesome Carolyn Hennessy joining us. But we didn't really get a chance to break down any of the latest goings-on. So I know you've been starved for a lot of insightful general hospital commentary, and that's what we do. That's
how we roll.
That's right. So before we dive into everything in particular, Carla, what have you thought this week in particular, but just the last couple of weeks?
The last couple of weeks, it's been very interesting about what's been going on with Ryan and with Kevin, and we'll get into that in a minute. And Ava popping off as usual as Ava, Oscar and Joss and Julian and Kim and Drew and all of that, and haven't seen so much of D.A. Dawson these days, which is a lovely thing. But it's been a slow burn, but I feel like Ryan is starting to slip up and make mistakes because he's distracted by Ava. So, yeah.
We'll just jump right into that because, we've got our good old Ryan Chamberlain making things happen. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week when he went to go see Kevin and Ferncliff because Kevin had gone blind as well from the virus.
And then he left him.
Yes.
He just left him high and dry. I'm like, ooh, that's cold-blooded. That is cold-blooded. But what makes me curious about that is whether or not because I can't remember if when it happened to Ryan, if it just automatically came back or if they had to give him something. I don't remember.
They gave him that surgery.
Okay.
The same thing they did with Anna.
So I wonder if with Kevin, if this blindness thing is going to become permanent and how that will play into him trying to get out of Ferncliff, how that will play into him eventually blowing the cover off of Ryan if Ryan doesn't do it to himself.
It was interesting because we have the nurse over there at Ferncliff just saying like, this person is included.
She was on it, and then he dismissed her. Wasn't that horrible how he dismissed her? He was like, "Yeah, why don't you go back to your office until I call you?" I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "Chirp, chirp." That was so busted. I couldn't believe he did that. But he is really. But then when he went to see Kevin, he was asking about, I forget the guy's name, starts with a C.
Oh, Cabot.
Cabot. So he was asking about Cabot and why he was coming to see him, and I think Cabot is probably going to be the key that helps them figure out that Ryan is playing shenanigans and taking on other people's personas.
It's going to be interesting to see who gets that little nugget that's going to start making people think like, oh, holy cow.
Because it literally could be anybody. And the other thing that's interesting to me about Ryan is, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, how did we know that Ryan knew how to hypnotize people? Can we just talk about that for a second? I'm like, did he get a book? Did he look it up on the internet? I'm like, he's not a real doctor. So how did he figure out how to hypnotize somebody?
Yeah, because I know Kevin does, but he's a doctor. He's studying to do
exactly.
that. I would assume that Ryan just did that deep dive on Wikipedia and said all right, a couple of YouTube tutorials. I'm set to go. Let me go.
and right. And then the other thing is he keeps slipping up. So his greatest and latest slip up, in addition to hypnotizing people and you don't really know what you're doing, his greatest slip up is the way he hypnotized Lulu. And now maybe I missed this too. was there something that happened with him slamming the door that makes her remember that he's not the one?
I don't know, because
he slammed that door so hard.
Yes.
I'm like, was that something that we didn't see? Like him slamming the door being a clue for her to say it was Franco. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing is, what's he gonna do? He gonna kill half of Port Charles, because half of Port Charles has some kind of relation to Ava. So anybody that he feels is gonna get between him and Ava, he's like, I'm just gonna take him out. And then he lures Griffin up to the roof. I'm like, and in that instance, I'm like, Griffin, are you really that stupid?
But it's also, we're seeing is that he's going to get a reprieve. So I imagine Ava's going to go up there and stop it from happening. But it's also, how would Ava know that is, if Kevin's not in his office, he's got to be on the roof. He's got to be. How would she even know?
Exactly. It's a hospital.
Yeah, he could be with a patient. He could have been in the restroom. He could have been right in the commissary.
Unless it's a mom and pop hospital, the likelihood of her figuring out that he is on the roof with Griffin is like, I don't know, 1 in a million. That was pure comedy. I actually laughed at that. I laughed at the whole hypnosis thing. And then Lulu being hypnotized was getting... she was getting on my nerves so bad. I can see it. I can see the knife. I can see his hands. And then that comment of, I feel like he's standing right in front of me, because he is standing right in front of you, dum-dum.
Yep.
I was like, is this really what we're doing right now? And this was the other thing. So then they go out and they arrest Franco, right? They arrest Franco, and then they're all like, but we don't have any concrete evidence. They don't have no knife. They don't have no fingerprints. But I feel like Ryan probably gonna get them those driver's licenses. But then it's gonna be like, so where did you find these licenses, and how do you know that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's messing up. He's messing up big time.
How long do you want to see the storyline go? How much longer?
I'm being very entertained.
Yeah.
So I could see this go on forever, because it's very entertaining.
I know that there are some people that are like, with the storyline, it's kind of driving them bonkers. They just want their revelation to at least just to find out, like, Ryan is really Ryan and not Kevin.
They're saying in the chat room, Michael B said maybe he studied all the skills Kevin knew just in case he'd have a chance to replace him. Really, Michael B? I mean, like, it takes people years to finesse the art of hypnotism.
Yeah.
Years. I just like, he can read up on that all he wants to, but I'm just like, And then Kelly's like, Kevin fed Ryan crap about Kevin having a prenup with Laura. Oh yeah, that was right.
Yeah, that so far is not really taking root at all. So we'll see if anything goes.
And the money and all that. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's why he met with Alexis. Did he? Yeah. So that's why he met with Alexis. Speaking of Alexis, she had an interesting week, didn't she?
Yeah, it's real quick with the Ryan Chamberlain stuff. It's I'm still feeling. Because I know Ava's become the object of his affection, and seeing that one moment where he grabs her arm, like, don't you dare walk away from me.
Oh, yeah, that was a little scary.
Yeah, where you see these little bits.
Why you... First of all, if any man grabbed me like that, I'd be like, I'm going to need you to get your hands up off me. Like, I might love you, and we might have gotten busy, but I'm going to need you not to be grabbing me by my arm. Yeah. What is that? You don't put your hands on me.
That's true.
Look, don't come for me unless I call you. And that means don't let your fingers come anywhere near my arm or any other appendage on my body unless I ask for them to. I'm going to need you not to touch me.
What I do like, though, with Ava is one that her strong response to Kevin, like, you got to let that, unless you want that arm gone, snapped off, you better pull it back. But also Ava, with Ryan working so hard to set up Franco for this, that Ava was willing to hear Franco out and believe him.
Because the one thing I can say about Ava in some instances has really good intuition. And based on everything she's gone through with Franco, especially his relationship with Kiki, she knows deep down inside that he didn't do it. At one point, she even says, this just doesn't make sense. He loved Kiki. He would never harm her. He would never hurt her. This just doesn't make sense. And that was another instance where Ryan snapped again. He like raised his voice and came at her. I thought you'd be happy to hear that. And ain't nobody trying to hear that. What I really want to see play out, what I'm curious to see play out, is the moment that she does find out that all this time, Kevin is not Kevin, it's Ryan. she slept with this psychopath, and this is the person that killed her daughter, that killed all these people because he just wanted to be with her.
Yeah.
That's the moment I want to see play out, because that's the moment that's going to win that $1 Emmy. I'm telling you right now. If she hasn't won one already, she's going to win one for that.
Yeah, I mean, she's already had stuff with Kiki's death and funeral. Now
She's had General Hospital loves writing for her. She's fabulous. She's fabulous.
It's I mean, and we see other people kind of questioning with Frank, like D.A. Dawson. She's just willing to like, boom, no, it's Franco. Let's get this done. But I do like at least that Jordan is not feeling it's such a slam dunk.
Yeah, Jordan is kind of, you can tell by Jordan's slowness to react in certain situations, like when they alluded that it was Franco once before. She was like, I don't know. And then, she's just not been like, let's go get him. And which kind of makes me feel a little more empathy toward her, because I'm like, okay, she's not so quick to act. Because in the real world, if she were so quick to act, it would be her ass, it'd be her job. She'd be gone. So I'm glad to see that they're giving her some common sense in that regard, that she's just not she's not just reacting to everything that everybody says and does. I love the fact that this whole Franco thing is giving Ken Shriner as Scotty Baldwin something to do. I love that the whole Franco thing is giving Elizabeth more to do, like that whole scene with her and Griffin after the police have ransacked the art room, her just having that moment where you can, if you turn the volume down on the television and you just watch that scene with no sound, you can totally get how frustrated and confused she is by that whole situation.
But I like is that it would seem more often than not they would follow the trope, like, holy cow, this person was a monster, and they distance themselves, and that leads to a fracture in the relationship. I do like that they're just like, nope, Elizabeth feels like she really knows him and doesn't buy what anybody else is saying.
I love the fact that she's standing by her man. Because in the past, when somebody that she's been involved with has been accused, she would stand by him to a point, and then she'd be like, Like, I remember there was a time when she was with Jason for a split second, and they were accusing him of some stuff, and she was kind of like, oh, Jason, I got to go back to Lucky, sorry. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that this time, she's like, nope, been there, done that. I know him. I know he wouldn't do this. And then there's that whole moment with Laura where she's like, my grandchildren are in that house with him. I'm not having that. And then the whole situation gives me a lot of empathy for Franco, because Franco has been the one when all this stuff came up with Aiden, with them trying to figure out what was wrong with Aiden, and then them finally getting a clue that he might be gay, which I love. I love General Hospital for taking on subject matter that isn't spoken about every day, because whenever we speak about individuals being gay or someone being part of the LGBTQ community, is always associated with an adult. So I love the fact that General Hospital is taking on this from the vantage point of a child, because I had a cousin and an uncle that were gay, and my cousin literally was that person from the time we were kids. This wasn't something that he grew into. It wasn't a fad. It wasn't a phase. It wasn't him trying to be cool or fit in. It literally, innately is who he was. So as a child. So I'm glad that General Hospital is approaching it from that vantage point, because somebody is watching that show that has a child that's like that. And this will help them connect on a level that they probably didn't even see coming.
Yeah, that's very true.
And now I'm off my soapbox.
No, that's great. You're gonna be on that soapbox a lot this show. I can tell already. It's I would like to see that when Laura gets together with Franco, and does she have that same sort of feeling that Ava does? Like, I just need to hear Franco say it.
No, because Laura. And the only reason I say no is because that scene in the hallway of GH with Elizabeth. And Laura having Lulu in the chair, pushing her in the wheelchair, that scene where they run into Elizabeth, and Laura's like, well, no, he did it. And Lulu's like, no, I'm sorry. I saw him. Laura, when it comes to her kids, when it comes to Lucky, when it comes to her grandchildren, when it comes to Lulu, she gets blind. So I don't think she's going to have any empathy when it comes to Franco unless some really hard, concrete, physical evidence that she cannot ignore will make her change her mind. She's going to go in, and she's going to go in hard. And now that she's the mayor of Port Charles, she has that power of that office behind her, too.
Well, I do like Elizabeth going into and saying, Jordan, like, hey, this isn't the first time that somebody's been framed for this. It happened to Griffin. It happened to Carly. What's to say it's not happening to Franco?
Exactly.
So I was like, yeah, I don't know why the police are thinking like this is such a slam dunk.
It's not. Because like most police officers and police departments and cases, when it's something that has been going on for a minute and they just want to see a resolution to it, they get real lazy and they just want to pin it on anybody just to close the case.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We just got to get this
They're
thing
like,
closed.
let's just get this over with because we don't really want to deal with this case anymore. But I just love how sloppy he's getting. He's just getting so sloppy. It's becoming comical. It really is.
There is, where is this? Oh, here we go. So, of course, we were talking about Franco and Liz, the Frizz community.
The Frizz community, yeah.
Yes. There was I saw a tweet that from hashtag Frizz are doing life there on Twitter, but talking about that kiss that Franco and Liz have while they're waiting at the hospital, while they're waiting for the MRI.
Oh, in the
test.
art room?
For the MRI tests.
Oh.
Yes. Where this scene where she's kind of giving him that kiss there, but. Everybody watches soap operas for some reason, and some for the romance, some for the intrigue, the action, whatever it might be. Clearly, the hashtag Frizz are doing life is a big fan of the romance for sure. But the way that they've described
grown
this,
on me.
The way they described this just made me laugh because it's like clearly I'm not a romantic because I'm not feeling any of this on the scene. It's like I just thought it was just a weird kiss, but. The way she holds his face to look into his eyes, the way he just exhales deeply because he needs her touch, the way her finger caresses his mouth, he has to reach out and hold her, even in handcuffs. This is a ship.
Oh, no.
I just saw that tweet. I was like, man,
that is so sarcastic and wrong on so many levels. I can't even. They're actually kind of growing on me. I think my apprehension with that couple in the beginning excuse me, is because they didn't have any chemistry to me. They didn't have any chemistry. And now as time has gone on, I'm starting to see a little bit more chemistry from them. So they're kind of growing on me. It's the same way I felt about Jordan when she first came on. I felt like she hadn't connected to the cast yet. So every scene she was in, especially the ones that she was in with, what's her husband's name?
Curtis.
Especially the scenes that she was in with Curtis just felt awkward and forced. And now I can see Brianna, who plays Jordan, now that I can see she is a little more I can see she's more comfortable. She's more at ease. She's, I remember meeting her out in public somewhere here in Los Angeles. And I point blank asked her, I was like, are you feeling more comfortable at General Hospital? I said, was that difficult for you? She's like, oh my God, yes, it was so intimidating, blah, 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 blah. She says, but now I'm feeling more comfortable. And right after I saw her, the next episode I saw, I could see that she was more comfortable. So I say all of that to say that with Franco and Elizabeth, I just feel like when you are doing these romantic scenes on a soap, in a movie, on television, there's all those people there. So that's intimidating enough that there's like 50 people watching you have this moment. It's not an isolated moment where it's just you and the other actor. There's all these people around. So there's that intimidation. And then if this isn't somebody that you're used to working with, or you haven't had a chance to rehearse with them, or you have no chemistry with them, or whatever the case may be, it's just awkward and it's just hard to find a way to build that up. And I feel like they've built that up, but that kiss was kind of awkward. It was just kind of weird.
And I give it up for hashtag Frizz are doing life for being excited by that. I mean, everybody has their couples that they root for. So I applaud your enthusiasm and passion. It just reminds me I'm dead inside. I'm like,
you're always dead inside.
I can't see that. I just can't see it.
So let's talk about Anna and Peter and all them people. I think it was a couple of weeks ago when Anna found out that Peter had given Liesl a job at The Intruder. how she went over there and she was like, and there was just that moment right before Peter and Maxie were going to kiss, and she came busting into my, have you lost your mind? I laughed out loud. That was kind of funny.
Now, there is big talk going on. It kind of goes into more of the spoilery, gossipy stuff.
Yeah.
That it's going to be with all this twin storyline happening, and we're seeing Alex being name-checked a couple times already.
Yes.
That the reveal is going to be that really Peter is Alex's child and not Anna's.
That would be ugly.
And then it might have to do with, this whole thing, the memory mapping, however that all falls into place. If that were true to be the case, that is the rumors that are going on right now.
Yeah, they alluded to that online, though, because they started talking about, I think, what's his name, Robert and Finn, they were trying to track down how this virus was starting and why randomly different people, it was attacking them. And there was that moment where some evidence came up. They got a hold of some evidence that proved that Alex was someplace where Anna had never been, doing something that Anna would never do. So I think that's probably where those rumors are being filtrated from. But I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel about that? I mean, do we really need to? I mean, there were shenanigans when Alex was there before. Do we need to see more shenanigans of that type? Like, do we need this for Finn and Anna to come closer? I'm like, really? I don't get it. But wait, before you answer though, I just have to acknowledge this one moment that made me, again, I did a lot of laughing out loud. So this moment made me laugh out loud when Anna got up in Liesel's face and went off on her at the Metro Court, and then Finn goes, remind me never to piss her off. And then Robert's like, yeah, you need reminding. I laughed out loud. That was funny. That was very funny to me.
It is, I don't know, because I know people were kind of in two minds about this whole thing when it was first introduced. They kind of went back into Anna's past and they kind of retrofitted it to make this event happen. Mm-hmm. And some people were like, whoa, this seems so weird. Why are we doing this? So you've spent, I don't know, you spent this much time kind of developing this whole relationship.
Just to flip it back to that, yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for, does it play better for Peter finding out that this woman that he's getting close to is not really his birth mother, but just his aunt? And that his real birth mother may not even want anything to do with him. His worst fear realized, where it's like, oh yeah, she got rid of me and she doesn't even care about me.
I don't think, for that storyline, I don't think we need to do that. Like, we dragged and milked the hell out of that particular storyline already. Do we really need to revisit it from another vantage point? My opinion is no, we don't.
I mean, I guess, it all depends, I guess, how you love the Anna character. If you don't want the history of your soap characters being messed with so much, that it kind of reestablishes what you think is the true Anna status quo. Like, oh, wait, she's only ever had one child, and that's Robin.
Yeah, and where is Robin? I need for Robin to come back. I need for Robin to show her face and be like, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I assume that she'll probably make an appearance if this whole thing gets revealed that Peter's really just her cousin and not her brother.
That would just be a tragedy. Somebody in the chat room, Rena Sheen, has a really good point. She said, you think the blindness has something to do with Shiloh and the dawn of day? That's actually a good point. It might. Because he's shady boots.
He is. We'll get into some Shiloh stuff. I will say it's great to see Robert back, as always. I'll take any Robert I can get. But I am liking the relationship that's developing between Robert and Finn.
I do. I like that, too. I like that they got jokes.
Yes.
Their love and admiration for each other is coming off of their love and admiration for Anna. So that's really cool. I'm good to see that, as opposed to Robert being snarky every time he shows up in Port Charles.
Yeah.
It's nice to see this kind of relationship going down.
And there was a moment there where Sunny came over to talk to Anna, and it was more about Dante.
Right.
She could use any of her WSB connections.
Right.
One, I was always kind of bummed that I was expecting a name check for Frisco. Like, when she came back in, she was like, I talked to my WSB contact. I was like, I talked to Frisco. I was like, I thought, why not give this Frisco a shout out? Why not?
Nah.
But
not happening.
I felt like Robert knows more about what's going on with Dante than he's saying.
I feel like that, too. And when Dante returns, is it going to be the Dante that was there before, or are they going to recast the role?
How do you feel? Do you feel Dante's Dominic has got to play that character, or can it be somebody recast and you're not going to mind?
I really enjoyed Dominic as Dante. It would be nice if he could come back, but you never know what people have moved on to and what they're doing. So if he is engaged in something that scheduling wise won't allow him to come back to GH, I get it, and I would be okay with him being recast. But nobody will do it like Dominic will.
I mean, it has been a while since we've seen him. He did come back for that Sunny It's a Wonderful Life episode.
Right.
But in real Port Charles continuity, we haven't seen him for a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
So, I mean, you could recast it, but we've seen no announcements of any new cast members.
Maybe they're keeping it under wraps.
They could. I mean, it does seem like Robert and Finn, at least as the rumors are saying, that they're going to be on their
another mission,
on their Swiss mission there to find out more about Dr. Cabot. We'll come across Dante in some fashion, and then that's all going to be tied together along with all this virus storyline.
Oh, wait, let me just talk about this 1 second. So, the other thing that I'm waiting for the lid to blow off of it is this whole thing with the baby that Willow thinks is hers, but it's not. It's really Michael. Like, I'm waiting for that lid to come off because it looks like it's gonna happen sooner than later, and because Brad and Julian are, lurking around in cahoots together, and it's getting to the point where Lucas is starting to peep that and getting mad at Julian. It's like, why don't you get mad at your husband?
Yeah, it's...
Like, why don't you talk to your husband about what's going on and not be all up in Julian's face all the time?
Do you think their marriage can survive that?
Nobody's marriage could survive that. That's too big of a lie. That lie is so ginormous, and it's gone on for so long that there is no way it could survive that. None. Like, Brad would have been just better off copping to the truth. He would have been better off copping to the truth and giving that baby to Michael. He would have been better off. But Nell had something over him. So she blackmailed him, and so he felt like she's gonna tell this on me if I don't do what she says. It's like he dug a hole so deep for himself that there's no way he's gonna get out of it. And when the poop hits the fan with this one, the young man playing Brad is probably gonna be gone. They'll write him off the show.
Because I don't know if Nell necessarily had anything on him. It was just taking advantage.
No, she had something on him, and I can't remember what it was because she said something to him about it in that moment. And then in addition to that, she said, I don't like Michael. I don't want him to be with that family. If Michael gets him, I'll never get a chance to see him, blah, 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 blah. So I think in that moment that Brad was dealing with Nell, when that whole situation went down, I think he felt he was... You know how some people are in a situation like that and they're just not in their right mind. They can't think clearly. I think he wasn't in his right mind. I think his common sense went out the window. He let homegirl intimidate him and talk him into doing something that, to his core, he knew wasn't right. And with each passing day, the lie is getting bigger and bolder and harder to hide. Because even Julian says, that school teacher's going to be a problem because she thinks that baby is hers. And I'm like, that's not going to be such a good thing when she finds out. And what is that going to do to Willow? What is that going to do to Willow when she finds out that her baby actually did die? What is that going to do to her? Like, that particular storyline affects so many people in so many busted, crazy ways that it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when it finally does blow up and fall apart.
Folks, before we move on to our next topic, because we're talking about so many, we're going to get Carla back on our soapbox in just a moment. But we just want to say thank you for helping us become the ESPN of TV Talk. And for us to continue to grow, we need a little bit more help as well. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends, and keep enjoying our shows.
And that was very well done,
oh,
as
my
usual.
Goodness.
You always do such a great job with that.
Stop it. I'll be curious to see, because we also have that scene where it's been alluded to that Willow could possibly be the real daughter of
That's
Nina.
what they're saying in the chat room.
It's and we're still waiting I feel like we have to see that official half locket of the heart, and we still haven't seen that. There's been talk about it's gonna pop up. Mm-hmm. Do you want to see Willow be revealed?
No, I really don't. I'm kind of digging Sasha as the daughter, even though I know she's not the real one. I dig Sasha, but I feel like Sasha, is going to come to Nina's defense with something real sooner than later. Something's going to go down where Sasha is going to be the one that's going to be like, nope, I'm standing with Nina. And it's probably going to be when the shit hits the fan with Valentine. Because even Nina's like, I thought when I told you I was going to marry Valentine, you'd be like, yay. And you were like tepid. When she said you were tepid at best, I was like, She used the word tepid, which is really like a really horrible word to use for cold, but you get the point. Yeah.
I would feel the only hope for Valentine, because as soon as this truth comes out, his life's going to be blown up again.
Yeah, I'm going to need him to be gone after this because I can't. The fact. With Valentine, I just can't understand why he thinks it's a good idea to consistently lie to get what he wants. And he has this daughter, Charlotte, who is taking his lead. Look what she's done. She's bullied people. Like that moment between him and Willow where Willow gives him all this homework for Charlotte because, you know, she hadn't been to school since Lulu had been in the hospital. And so Willow gives Valentine all this homework and she gives him this packet of letters or cards or whatever that her classmates have written. And then Valentine very smugly goes, oh, somebody actually cares about Charlotte, about whether or not she's in school. I'm like, really? Are you going to do that right now?
Yeah.
Like, are you really? I'm gonna need you to clamp your jaws and just take the envelope and turn your heels and keep it moving. Like, why? Why are you even having that discussion? And how are you gonna have an attitude about anything?
I think if he can figure out, if he gets by some chance lucky enough to find out that Willow is really Nina's daughter, so he can be ahead of it and spin it, that is like, even I was duped.
I don't think he's gonna get ahead of that and spin it. I don't think he's. There's too many people that know the truth. Like if it was one person, you know how they do on soaps.
Yeah.
If it's one person, the likelihood of it getting found out is like next to nil. But when too many people know what time it is, Maxie is already like this, right? Maxie got one eye open, looking at him all crazy. Sasha knows. Liesl knows, and you know Liesl can't hold water, so it's only a matter of time before somebody pisses her off, and she just tells everything. She is the worst person. She is the most explosive person in that whole scenario. Her right there.
True. I mean, if she feels like she's not getting what she's owed, then she's going to.
It's going to be ugly. I love that they brought her back though, because I live for her on screen.
When she went
makes
to the
me so
Metro
happy. Yes, and bought the champagne.
Like, you should give me something free, right? To celebrate my new job.
No, but then she sends a bottle of champagne over to Anna and Robert and Finn. I'm like, you are doing the most right now. Oh. You are doing way too much in this moment. Like, why don't you just sit over in the corner with your champagne and be happy by yourself? But no, Liesl just can't leave well enough alone. She got to have everybody else be miserable too.
Well, for somebody that was angling to get something free from Carly for that, to then turn around and buy a bottle of champagne.
So it's not like you didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. She been running around talking about how broke she is, how she needs a job, well, clearly you didn't need that much. Because even after Anna leaves, Robert looks at that champagne like, yeah, this is some good stuff. Let me pour some more of this and drink it. I'm like, oh, y'all are doing too much. It was funny.
I am liking those scenes between Maxie and Peter when they're trying to figure out, like, what is up with Valentine in regards to Nina and Sasha.
Yeah, I like those scenes too. And what I'm also liking is that they're pulling him away from being goo goo gaga gushy around Maxie all the time, and they're letting some of that old Peter August slip out every once in a while. Because remember, there was a scene where she overheard him on the phone. She's like, "Ooh, I like when you're sounding commanding and whatever." And I was like, "You mean like a serial killer? like the serial killer that he was when you first met him? Okay, let's go with that. I'll take that, Alex." Like, what is happening right now?
And Obrecht's, how do you feel about Obrecht's reaction to finding out that Maxie and Peter are starting to get close?
I don't think she overreacted. Like, I think her reaction was right on point, considering, like, this is somebody that she tortured and she was going to kill. And even still, knowing that Maxie was carrying her grandchild and that Maxie kind of sort of had a little crushy crush on him then, she still was going to take him out. She didn't care what Maxie thought. So good for Maxie for not trying to, like, you know, open up and be like, yeah, I'm dating Peter, surprise. Like, she the last person you need to be divulging that news to, because she will lose her damn mind. And the same thing goes for Nina with Valentine. When she found out that that Valentine was with Nina, she was like, oh, really? Is that what's happening? She said, okay. All right.
I like how Maxie, though, she'll be stern with Liesl, but still loving in the sense like she wants him to still be included in her life. But, you know, hey, part of this is that this is the deal, and if you don't like it,
Exactly.
sorry.
And then there was the moment where the three of them got together to celebrate Nathan's anniversary, and when I saw the three of them sitting there, I was like, it's gonna take 2 shakes before Liesl just like ruins this for everybody. And it took long. It took less than 2 shakes. It took like a half a shake before she ruined it, and Nina bounced. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Nina was like, this is some BS. I'm out, and she was gone.
Speaking of gone, real quick, another hot storyline as we're getting ready to wrap up is Oscar finding out that his treatment has given him a reprieve.
Well, not really, because as Dr. Randall said after Oscar left the room, his tumor didn't shrink. It stayed the same, which means he's got a little bit of time for right now, but that could go either way at any given moment, which makes me nervous because then we see him and Joss walking somewhere, and I'm just like, I feel like we about to have another emergency with them, just like we did when they went to the catacombs.
Well, it does. I mean, for everything you're seeing online, it is all set in stone that Oscar is going to lose his battle against this. Which, I mean, it's sad. It'll be a sad story, but I'm excited to see it being told.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the LGBTQ story being told. It's important that people and the Alzheimer's story being told on GH. It's important that they see a storyline like that through health-wise, considering that the show is called General Hospital, that they show it all the way through fruition so that people have an opportunity to see what happens from diagnosis to whatever end it's going to have.
I do like that Oscar is not like, oh my gosh, that's it. I'm safe.
Yeah.
It's like he's understanding that
he's
it's
understanding
just a little
that
temporary relief.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that they're doing that with him too, as opposed to what you said. Yeah.
All right, so everybody is reading Dawn of Day. The Dawn of Day book. There you go. Alexis seemed to like it. Of course, we know how Christina feels about it. Sonny's like, oh, this is a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, Sonny's
until the bartender goes like, oh, it changed my life. Sight unseen. I've never have read that book. If you were to read it, do you think you'd be more like Alexis and Christina, or would you be more like Sonny?
I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of anything. And what I really didn't like about that whole situation, book aside, is when they invited Alexis to the meeting and had Alexis up in Christina's face talking that nonsense. I'm like, you know what? That was way too cultish for me. I'm like, but again, I applaud General Hospital for approaching subjects that most people wouldn't be bothered with. They are approaching that whole cultish storyline from the vantage point of this is how people get reeled into those types of things. This is how they stay in those types of things. And this is how families are not able to get them to separate from them because they tap into something that innately at their core, emotional core, is something that strikes a chord for them. And that's how those people that run those types of situations are able to kind of latch on and keep people in them. So I'm glad that they're exploring that storyline, especially with, the whole Scientology series that's on right now with Leah Remini.
Yeah.
I think it's important that people understand how someone gets involved in something like that, why some of them stay and why some of them get out and why some of them have family members that try to pull them out.
Well, and I did like how Alexis tried to ride that line because clearly she didn't want to do any like the focus it on you. Mm-mm. But certainly Christina was really being pushy about it.
Yes, I was like, Christina, girl, slow your roll.
I mean, I guess you think one of those like if you think you've discovered something, you're like, well, clearly I know the secrets of the world and the universe, so just listen to me, and not realizing that not everybody's going to feel the same way you are. You gotta dial back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm interested. That storyline actually is very interesting to me because there's so many different components to it. You got Sam trying to call Shiloh out. You got Sonny that's looking at him with one eye open. You got Alexis that's kind of straddling the fence. There's everybody in her life is in a different lane of that situation. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of them it's going to be interesting to see if Sam ends up getting to be where Christina is because he keeps messing with her. Luckily for her, she has Jason to kind of like pull her back, but I'm wondering just how long that's going to last,
Over under a month before Sam is walking up some stairs and falls back into Shiloh's arms.
Oh, under a month. Easy. It's probably going to be under a week.
Well, we do see a little kind of reflections about Christina, how she feels about this budding closeness between Sam and Shiloh.
She ain't having it.
And that kind of leads us into a little bit of quick news and gossip before we leave here real quick.
Okay.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Our pal, Brittany Sarpy, who plays Valerie on GH, she's not got a contract role on Young and the Restless.
I know. People in the chat room were salty about that. They're not having it.
It's a bummer because there was such a great storyline that had been kind of teed up to be explored, but there really had been nothing followed up on it.
Yeah, but they hadn't utilized her. And when you're not being utilized, you're not being paid. So Homegirl had to go where the paycheck is. I ain't mad at her.
No, not mad at all. I'm only just disappointed that the show could never figure out what to do with her. And now by the end, now it's too late to figure out, like, this could have been an interesting storyline to tell with her and Christina.
They could recast it and do it, but it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're gonna take the time to show the story, it
follow
benefits.
it through. Yeah.
So that is a shame. So, but we're excited to see Brittany Sarpy get a contract role, and that's
Absolutely.
Great
Congratulations, girl.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that was a quick little news and gossip, little quick shout out because the time is over. It flies so fast.
It did fly fast. It was a lot, but I think we got it all.
We did. I mean, real quick, your feelings about Alexis and her new therapist.
I have no feelings.
Okay.
Like you, I'm dead inside.
But it's Joe Flanagan from Stargate Atlantis. I'm excited.
I'm dead inside.
I want him to activate that Stargate. Let's go.
No, the jury's still out on that one.
All right. I'm curious to see how long he sticks around. I got a soft spot for Joe Flanagan. It dials back into my Tristan Rogers-ness. I love it. Give these old guys a shake. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the GH Report. Thank you, everybody, for hopping in the chat. Carla's saying her farewells to you folks in there. But as always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you want to follow either of us after the show's over and continue the conversation, Carla, where can they find you?
You guys can find me across all social media platforms at The Curvy Critic. Right before the GH Report at 5 o'clock, you can find me over at Black Hollywood Live doing the Curvy Film Critic, well, the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. And you can see my film reviews at Rotten Tomatoes now. Rotten Tomato approved. Woo, woo, woo. And of course, I'm here every Sunday with Frank at 6 o'clock.
Look at that. And I'll be bringing this sexy voice back
Oh,
with
Lord,
you.
I cannot.
Get ready. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the GH Report. We'll be back next Sunday with an all-new episode right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Deuces.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.